Okay, hi guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the story. I know it was a harder level. It was definitely a high reading level, but H.G. Wells definitely writes towards, he has a very strong vocabulary. So hopefully you enjoyed the story. I thought it was very odd and kind of creepy, but perhaps a little let down at the end when you realized that the only thing that there was to be afraid of in the Red Room was really just his own imagination. And, H.G. Wells used personification to make fear seem like it was the monster in the room. And back in this time period, without electricity, as you learned in my background movie yesterday, that could make a listener scary when that was the only form of entertainment they had, unlike you guys having scary movies today. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just give you the answers for the suspense activity today because we're kind of running out of time. And I think that putting these in chronological order would probably take you a very long time to do. I think it's a skill that all of you know how to do. But I'm going to go ahead and just give you the answers. So go ahead and copy down that A would be 15, B would be 14, C would be the 10th thing that happened in the story. D is the very first thing that happens in the story. E is 17. F is 6. G is the second thing that happens in the story. H is 12. I is 13. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video or rewind it. That's why we do these. J is 4. It's the fourth thing that happened in the story. K is 18. L is 11. M was the seventh thing that happened. N is the 16th thing that happened in the story. O is the 9th thing that happened. P is the third thing that happened. Q is the 8th thing that happened in the story. And R was the 5th event in the story. Okay, so pause, rewind if I went too fast and you didn't get all those, but here they are. So these are the answers. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the graph, the suspense graph, and you are going to put the letters down here in this column right here on the x-axis. So for example, number 1 is done for you. If you go over here and you look down through these numbers, you have to find the number 1. And the number 1 is right here, and it's letter D. So you would put letter D in that spot just like I did on the example. So let's do the second one together. So if I go over here and I look for the number 2, the second thing that happened, I found it, G. So I need to go over here and write G in the box. And then, let's see here, the third thing that happened, I see it, I found it. It is right here. And it is the letter P, so I would put a P. Oops, it's hard to do this. And then I would go and find the fourth thing that happened, and it is a J. And you're doing this with me, right? The fifth thing is an R. And if I were to go and find the sixth thing that happens in the story, I can see that F would go here. And if I go and look for the seventh thing that happened, I see that I'm going to put an M right here. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and you go ahead and you finish this. After you have all of the letters written down here, unpause the video and I'll tell you what the next step is. So everybody should pause the video right now and carry on. All right, next I'm going to show you how you graph the suspense. So here you have your choices. It can either be pretty calm, perhaps it's slow suspense, slow tension starting to build up a little bit more now, and then it starts to get kind of extreme because now it's going to be very, all the way up to the point where it is so, the suspense is so intense and so massive that you could count it as your climax. All right, so if we go and so you're thinking to yourself, well, how do I know? So let's go and find D, which is number 1. And we have to read what it says. Let's see just how intense this is. I can assure you, said I, that it will take a very tangible ghost to frighten me. So he's basically telling the 3 custodians that he is not afraid of anything. So at that point, when someone claims to not be afraid, do you think they are calm? When they are telling you that they are very confident that nothing is going to frighten them, do you think they are calm? I do. I find them to be very calm. So I took my little shaded area, you can just use your pencil if you want, and kind of shade in on the bar here how high you think you should go for how much calm he is. You don't want to go too high, right? Because then you would saying that there's some tension there. And for somebody to speak very confidently that they're not afraid, obviously there isn't a whole lot of tension there because they're calm. So you don't want to go too high. Let's check out what G would be for number 2. He reassures the custodians and kind of plays off them saying, oh, it's your own choosing to go and spend the night there. And he says, yes, it's my own choosing, confirming again that he's not afraid. So do I feel like there's some tension growing there? Maybe slightly, because he's kind of playing off their words, but not by much. I mean, I really don't think I'm going to go too much, further up on the tension. So with your pencil, you could probably shade in, maybe just a little, maybe just a little bit higher, but probably not by much. All right, so then let's go see what P is for 3. So I'm looking for, there it is, number 3. It says, a monstrous shadow of him crouched upon the wall and mocked his action. Okay, so listen, when this happened, the custodian was, and you would know if you went back into the story and looked, but I'll just tell you. When the custodian is drinking a drink, he raises his hand to drink, and a shadow is being reflected at that same time on the wall behind him. So it's a bit dramatic, a monstrous shadow of him crouched upon the wall. But it is slowly, a little bit more tension. Just a little bit. That's kind of scary, a shadow on the wall. So I would take this up slightly, just a little bit more. Okay? And then you would do it again, but you have to go and find number 4, right? So you're going to come over here and you're going to look for number 4. I must confess that the oddness of these 3 old pedesters had affected my curiosity in spite of my effort to keep myself at a matter-of-fact phase. He wanted to be, this is a man of science, and he wanted to stay matter-of-fact. So when the 3 custodians are trying to calm him down, I think he does get a little restless. So again, I kind of feel like I would go up slightly, just a little bit more here. So if you haven't noticed, it's almost like you're starting to build in tension. But that doesn't mean that that's going to keep happening. So your job is to go over here at number 5 and so forth, okay? So you would come over here. Oh, man, I did not mean to do that. You would come over here, and we would find the number 5, and you are going to read it, and you're going to decide over here how much tension you're going to give event number R, the 5th thing that happened in the story. How much tension are you going to give R? And then so forth. And then you would do it again for number 6, and you'll come over here and you'll find number 6, and that's F, and you would read it, and you would decide how much tension you're going to give it on the bar. How much suspense is being built in number 6, and you're going to graph that. Okay? All right, so go ahead and complete the suspense graph, and then wait for further directions.